first kind of film thing that I did was when I was a kid with my dad. I'd visit him in the summer in Minnesota. We started making these like home movies because my younger brother, he was like in love with superheroes. So we made like a short film called Super Paris. When summer was coming, me and all my brothers, we would all write scripts. Everybody would have their Super Paris, like, oh, mine was number 9 or yours was number 12, and we would shoot them. And then we got more advanced. My dad started renting like editing spaces for us, and we would actually edit them and add in music and put in stuff. So that was like my first filmmaking experience.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show today. My name is John Drummond or Yang Haoen.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎回到 NG 英文，我是 Stephanie。今天的来宾 Nick 来自于美国，那他已经在台湾住一段时间了。那他是一位影片剪辑师、编剧以及导演。我们接下来欢迎今天的来宾 Nick。
We have a great episode for you today with my new friend Nick. Nick is from the US but has been living in Taiwan for quite some time now. He is a video editor, a screenwriter, a director, and so much more. So everyone, please welcome my new friend, Nick.
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for joining us on NG England, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, really happy. You know, we got to connect actually through Facebook,
right?
Through a little kind of TV film group.
Yeah.
And we were commenting just on how much we loved Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, it's a great film. We both like kind of connected on how much we liked it. I made a YouTube kind of video talking about what I think the film means. And I have a YouTube channel called Mint Volcano where I do film reviews and I talk about films and stuff. And I also put up some of my own work there.
You do, and you put up some beautiful work. I remember the first thing I noticed when you sent me that review was just how beautiful the quality was, the lighting, the visual. I was like, oh, this guy knows what's up.
Thank you.
And that was before I realized that, yeah, you were doing, directing and film editing and a YouTuber, if you don't mind me saying that as well.
Okay.
What's a better way to describe someone who uses YouTube as really an avenue to create?
I mean, you could say content creator. Content creator kind of has a bad vibe to it too, though, I think. I mean, I think nowadays it's the stigma around YouTube is kind of gone because I think it's a great way to put out stuff. It's very democratic. Like everybody can do it, and people that are trying to make it as filmmakers or whatever, they can get their work seen for free, you know. So I think it's fine to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, you're right though. I like content creator better.
来宾会认识 John 是因为他们透过脸书的一个影剧社团，那他们两个刚好都在看同一支影片，然后在下方留言赞美他。那其实 Nick 本身有一个 YouTube 频道，是专门在评论这些影片，以及他会上传他自己的作品。那其实 John 刚刚有问来宾有没有比 YouTuber 更好的一个用词呢？因为其实社会对 YouTuber 有一种 stigma 社会污名。那他说其实 content creator 内容创作者会是更好的用法，而且来宾也认为这个平台其实可以让更多的影音创作者免费的放上他们自己的作品，让更多人看见，所以这是一件很棒的事情哦。
Awesome, Nick. Well, do you think we could start a little bit today with kind of the origin story of you with video editing, with filmmaking? You know, when did that whole journey begin for you?
So, I mean, if you want to go back super far, I started when first kind of film thing that I did was when I was a kid with my dad. I'd visit him in the summer in Minnesota, and we started making these like home movies together just for fun. Like one day he was like, hey, we're going to make a movie today. Because my younger brother, his name's Paris, and he was like in love with superheroes and Spider-Man and stuff. So we made like a short film called Super Paris where he was like a superhero. And we would shoot it in camera, and like we shot it in sequence. And if we screwed up, we'd rewind the tape and shoot it again. And we made this like short film, if you want to call it that. And it was so much fun. Like I remember not wanting to do it when my dad was like, "We're gonna make a movie today." I was like, "Oh man, this is like what, you're making me work on my summer vacation."
Right.
But I guess we got into it, and every year when I would go visit my dad in the summer, we would make new ones. I think we made something like 15 of them. And so like when summer was coming, we would, me and all my brothers, I have 3 brothers, we would all write scripts, and we would like, everybody would have their Super Paris, like, oh, mine was number 9 or yours was number 12, and we would shoot them. And then we got more advanced, and my dad started renting like editing spaces for us, and we would actually edit them and add in music and put in stuff. And so that was like my first kind of filmmaking experience.
Wow, I love that. But yeah, I'm sure as a kid that did feel a little bit like work at the first stage.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't know what you're gonna like, that you're gonna like it. But then when we started doing it, it's just so much fun to make a movie. It's just like the best thing in the world, I think, because you get to like, you know, you get to kind of, they're my brothers and my family, but you get this like camaraderie when you're working on a film. And, you know, that carried over when it wasn't my family too. Like when I started working with other people, that kind of feeling, that vibe that you get when you work on a film is still there.
I love that. And thinking now about something you told me off air is you really love the creative process of editing. Do you think that kind of began because of that family tie to going maybe into that rented space with your family and editing?
Maybe. I think the reason I love editing so much is because that's when the film kind of comes together and you get to really see what it is. Because my philosophy on making a film is that once you're done with shooting and you start to edit, you kind of throw everything out and start again, and it's a new thing. Because what you have is what you have. And so if you're attached to your original idea, then you a lot of times screw yourself up because you're trying to make something that maybe you don't have. Because you never know what you're going to get in the production process. So when you get all the footage and you're looking at it and you kind of look at it with fresh eyes and you can kind of rearrange things and think, hey, what if this shot goes with this? And oh, that's cool. You discover all these cool ideas that you never thought of before. And I just love that part of it. And it's the most satisfying because like when you're done, the product is there. When you're done shooting, you have a bunch of stuff and it's like not finished. It's like all this stuff everywhere and you have to put it together. And it's like, you have to think about, oh, I have all this work ahead of me. When you're done with editing, like that's your product, and that feels really good.
I love that you can take that. I mean, you probably have sometimes thousands of shots, right?
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing, but yeah, you have a lot.
And you just compile it all, and I just love it because you're really staying curious. You're not being married to your original idea even, potentially, and you're allowing the creative process to unfold.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like. That's the way I like to approach it. I mean, sometimes you have, when I've worked with different directors, like they shoot in such a way that there's not that much that you can do. Like you have to kind of do it in a certain way. Personally, I like it if there's a little bit of freedom where you can play around and you maybe move a scene here, or you cut out a whole scene, or you do all this. You can do a lot of cool stuff. So I just think being flexible and being open is like part of the fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great mindset really to have as a director and an editor, I'm sure.
来宾会接触拍摄的原因是因为他暑假都要回去找他爸爸。那有一天他爸突然提议要拍一部短片，主要是因为他弟弟 Paris 想要拍跟超人英雄相关的题材，所以第一部就叫 Super Paris。那本来一开始来宾 Nick 觉得怎么我暑假还要工作，但是最后他发现其实蛮好玩的。那后来他每一个暑假都会写剧本，那他到最后总共拍了15部短片，甚至到最后他爸爸还帮他们租了剪辑室，让他们好好的剪辑。他很喜欢后制的原因是觉得这是一个完整的将作品拼凑在一起的时候。但尤其是在剪接的时候，等同于从头开始，因为素材都摆在你眼前，但是可能跟你当初构想的不太一样，所以你得想全新的方式去剪接，或者是全新的创意，否则会把自己整死。他觉得最 satisfying 令人满意的事情就是看到成果 product 就在这个步骤完成。那因为拍摄的时候你只会看到一群素材，其实看不出它最后的样子。那他认为后制是需要非常有弹性的 flexible。
Thinking about your work now as it is really your profession, what have you been really enjoying working on here in Taiwan or maybe anywhere in the world?
So, I mean, what I really like to do is work on like narrative, kind of experimental, weird stuff. And so I've made a lot of short films that have gone to festivals and stuff like that. That doesn't make a lot of money, but that's like what I really like to do. I'm working on just kind of a weird movie right now. I have a lot of shorts up on my YouTube channel that you can watch and kind of see the vibe of what I'm all about. I made a film recently, a few years ago, called Effects, that was about a friend of mine that passed away. And that was really great to work on. And it's a short kind of experimental film, just about kind of the grieving process that you go through when somebody you know dies. And so working on stuff like that is like my favorite part of creating.
Do you mind taking us through a little bit of the creative process you have? I love asking my creative friends, you have this idea, how do you put it into a script? How do you put it into storyboard and go from idea to creation?
Well, so like the way that I think about it is I will latch on to like an idea or like a concept that I think is interesting, and it doesn't have to be anything, like it doesn't have to have a theme or whatever. It's just like a cool thought or something that I think that would be cool. So there's a short film on my channel called Everything Rises. It's like about one woman who goes forward and one woman who goes backwards. And so I had thought of this idea, and I thought, okay, so how do I make a film about that, and what does that say about these two people? And then I tried to flesh out the kind of themes behind this idea of one person who goes through life, two people who go through life like on opposite timelines, and basically the idea of like that one of the people feels like they don't fit in because they're going backwards. And so that was kind of the theme that I then fleshed out, and then I wrote my script kind of trying to flesh out how to make that theme like conveyed to the audience. But it starts just as like, oh, that's something that's cool, that is interesting. So
yeah, and I love that. Yeah, just constantly coming up with new ideas.
Just being open to like inspiration, I think, is important, and then exercising the muscle that allows you to take that inspiration and turn it into something. It's what you need to do, I think.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
来宾喜欢叙述式跟实验性质的奇怪题材，那他大多数都是以短片为主。他曾经拍过一个影片，是关于他去世的朋友，主要是要诠释哀悼的过程。John 有问来宾他是如何想到这些题材，并且真的去执行。他说他其实是抓住其中一个概念或是想法，然后就去做了。比如说他曾经拍过一个是关于一个女人是往前生活，一个女人是往后生活，那往后生活的那个女人就无法融入这个社会，其实就只是一个非常有趣的概念罢了。
Would you have any advice for maybe young filmmakers? Anything to share?
Like I said to myself, just keep making stuff. Like don't worry about other people judging you or thinking that, oh, like I don't have enough money to make this or whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep creating and keep working on stuff, and if you love it, then that'll be fun, and you'll get somewhere. You'll get really good. The more you work on stuff, the better you'll get. So.
Yeah, no doubt. How do you go about getting work here in Taiwan?
I mean, I could probably be better, but I a lot of word of mouth, like people I know. If I worked on something with them, I'll get recommendations, stuff like that. I mean, that's the best way for me, just meeting people and trying to make connections that way. I'll solicit myself online. I feel like that's not the best way to kind of cold email somebody and be like, hey, I want to work on this, because they don't know you. I feel like in Taiwan and everywhere, like getting a personal connection with somebody first is a better way to go about finding work.
来宾给大家的建议就是要多做出一点作品来，那不要担心别人对你的批判，因为你的东西不一定要是完美的。那如果你热爱这件事情的话，其实是蛮好玩的，而且你会越做越好。那至于他是如何接到工作的，其实大部分都是 word of mouth， 就是口耳相传，或者是 recommendations 推荐。那他觉得无论你在哪里，其实要先有私交，你找工作上也会比较轻松哦。
Thinking a little bit then about your future, if you don't mind kind of projecting here. Do you want to be staying in Taiwan and helping kind of, work with the TV and film industry here?
I mean, yeah, I would love that. I'm open to kind of moving around, but I mean, I love Taiwan, and my wife is from here, so there will always be like a connection for me in Taiwan. And I think that the film industry here is really great. There's some of my favorite films ever are Taiwanese films. So it would be a cool experience and an honor to work on something really big or be part of that industry.
Yeah, so cool. Well, I wish you nothing but success in all that, and I'm so glad we got to connect through everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
来宾对未来的规划是他不排斥移动到其他国家，但是因为他老婆来自于台湾，所以他对台湾其实有非常强烈的连结。那当然，他也觉得台湾的电影产业他也非常喜欢，也很棒。那他希望有机会可以参与比较大的案子，或是成为这个产业的一部分。
Do you think we could change gears a little bit and still dive into kind of your filmmaking and your editing and all that, but from the perspective of your language journey and your journey with Taiwan?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So when did Taiwan start for you, my friend?
So I came over from my university, Emerson College, they had an exchange program with 世前大学, which is like another film school. And so I came over and I did a semester here, and I met a lot of people that are, working in film, or went on to work in film. They're like, film students like me, and I made a lot of friends there. And when I graduated from Emerson after I went back, I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. I didn't feel like the pipeline from Emerson is to go to LA, and I just didn't feel like that was what I wanted. So I was like, I really had a great experience working on stuff in Taiwan, so I just wanted to come back and check it out and try it out. And I went to Zhengda, and I got a master's in international communications there. And then after I graduated, I started getting freelance work, and I just never left.
他当初会来台湾是因为他大学有一个交换生方案，那他当时来了1学期，也认识了蛮多朋友，后来也进入影视圈。那他回去毕业之后，发现他其实不知道他想要去哪里，或者是做什么。虽然说他们学校的 pipeline 途径都是去 LA， 但他觉得那边并不是他想要待的地方，所以他想起他在台湾的那些很棒的经验，就决定回来拿硕士学位。他也同时接了一些自由案子的工作，后来就再也没有离开过台湾咯。
It's beautiful, yeah, and I love that feeling you had of not thinking that going to LA was the right path.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting feeling, and I had a very similar one when I was in San Diego, thinking about, going to further my career and, go and get my master's, and I was just like, no, I think I want to travel, actually, and that's how all my life began, really. But it's so cool because now you've been here, you're married, and you're living out in Taichung, right? And thinking about kind of your work-life balance and how you structure a lot of the scripts that you're doing. You were telling me off air, you write your scripts in English and then go through them with the team in Chinese.
Yeah, so I've worked on a few films with a group of actors that are really talented. And, we speak Chinese a lot on set, but, I'm not going to pretend like I have perfect Chinese. I'm going to be able to write a script all in Chinese. So what I'll do is I'll write it in English. I'll come up with my idea and I'll write it in English. And then I'll sit with the actors and we'll go over the lines together, and they'll help kind of write their dialogue with me. They'll help me translate it. So, we'll discuss the meaning of the line. And I think not only is it a good translation process, but it's also a really good exercise with the actors where they can, we can have an in-depth discussion of like, okay, what is the real meaning of this line? Like, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to convey to the other person? And through that translation process, you get almost like an acting exercise that comes out of it. And I feel like it's also a good directing technique.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to kind of sum that up, right? You're line by line, you're working with these actors in your message in English, and then having them kind of come up with what they would say in Chinese.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
And I try to also keep it pretty free, just because you wrote it this way, when we're shooting it, I like to kind of keep it if you want to change it, if you want to say something different, I'm really open to that. It's not like we have to do it this way. Have you ever heard of the director Mike Lay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's shot all of his stuff improv, and so that was kind of a big inspiration for me. I love his films, and so thinking we don't need to keep our dialogue set. It's
to the T, right?
Yeah,
and I love that. I've done a little acting work myself, and anytime I had any flexibility, I was always so much happier. I felt less pressured to nail every
right. And maybe that's also because I know, I'm going to be editing it, and so I know if we screw around and we mess around with it, I'm the one that's going to be fixing it. And I like having a lot of different stuff. So if we experiment when we're shooting, that's great for me.
And that ties back into your whole beautiful theory of the editing process, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
我觉得来宾很酷的是，他是用全英文去写脚本，但是他到现场的时候会跟演员用中文去对稿。那他觉得这样子的话，其实可以更深入的去了解这个角色想要表达什么，而且也觉得是一个不错的导戏方法。他喜欢让演员有自由发挥的空间，所以他不会要求他们台词一定要一模一样。尤其是他自己本来就是后制的那个人，所以他希望可以有不一样的东西，并且可以进行实验。反正最后需要负责修好的人是他嘛。
And so thinking a little bit about, I'm picturing you on set, right? You've got your whole crew. Are you guys just flowing between Chinese and English the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I was working with a cinematographer who's a good friend of mine. His name's Luke. He recently moved to New York, but him and I, he's Taiwanese, but him and I, for some reason, we spoke English. So we always speak English to each other on set. It's like a weird thing. Like when you first meet somebody, like whatever language you speak with them, you kind of stick in that. Like even if I will speak some Chinese to him, he'll like answer me in English. It's pretty interesting. But so me and him, we usually speak in English, but then I'll talk to the actors in Chinese, or if I can't think of a word, I'll speak English, and usually they know. So, it definitely flows in and out. Like there's a lot of
it's so cool
switching back and forth.
Yeah, it's like a natural language exchange that you're creating.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
Oh, what's that word? And then somebody says it.
Well, yeah, like I learned all of all the technical film terms. I just learned it on set because I didn't know any of that stuff. There's like special words for different things,
Sure. Did you actually study Chinese ever?
I did. Yeah, I did. I studied through tutors though. Usually, I never went to like a school.
Very cool. And so, thinking a little bit about maybe how people could get involved with your work or support your work or see more of your work, where could they find you?
So if you just search Mint Volcano on YouTube, you can find my YouTube reviews and my short films are there. You can also find me at nickvaky.com. That's my website. Or you can follow me on Instagram at Nick Vaky.
Nick Vaky. Awesome.
V-A-K-Y.
Yeah, very cool spelling. V-A-K-Y. Mint Volcano.
Yeah.
在片场，他通常都是不断的切换中英文，但是像他合作过的一个电影摄影师 cinematographer， 虽然是台湾人，但是因为他一开始认识的时候都是用英文跟他沟通，所以就习惯跟他用英文了。但像其他演员的话，都是用中文沟通为主。那他学中文主要的方式就是之前请过家教，但有一些中文的专业用语都是在片场学的哦。
I have so many questions about that.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get into that on the next round. But a question I love to end NG Ingwen with is, if you could go back and talk to a younger Nick, would there be any advice you give yourself about filmmaking, editing, life, anything?
Ooh, that's a good one. I gotta think for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. I should prep you for that one. Really, but...
let me think.
Yeah, you can take it high level, low level, anywhere you want.
I would probably tell myself to just make more stuff. I think a lot of times as like creatives or artists, we get stuck up on making something perfect and thinking like, oh, this is the, because we get attached to our work and our art, and we think like this is the movie that's gonna make me famous or whatever, and it's probably not. So it's just like keep going, keep making more things. Like honestly, I wish I had started doing YouTube a lot earlier. I would tell myself to start YouTube like early on. Maybe I would be rich if I had done that.
Nice. You're on your way, my friend. Yes, please check out his YouTube videos. They are beautifully done from all aspects. Great perspectives. Mostly, though, focusing on kind of the content creation around film review recently.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about the idea of the channel was to discuss kind of Taiwanese films for a Western audience. So maybe they hadn't heard of these kind of films. So I do a lot of reviews of Taiwanese films that I love. And then I've kind of branched out into showing my own work. So
that's beautiful. Awesome, Nick. Well, thank you for joining us on NG Ingwen, my man.
Thanks.
来宾给自己的建议就是要多做一些作品，因为他知道创作者跟艺术家都有个通病，那就是呢，他们希望可以呈现最完美的作品，而且他们觉得这个作品有可能就是他们成名的作品，但其实通常都不会是这样，所以他希望可以送给自己跟大家的就是呢，你们要不断做出新的作品，才有可能有成名的机会哦。那我们就谢谢今天来宾 Nick。All
right. Well, that is our NG Ingwen show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7 and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.